Got this weather all week, 14 degrees, 20 degrees Friday. I do all right until about Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah. And then I start missing her. I'm half tempted with this running phase to just not be concerned about pace or distance and just do the time.
You just need 3 sessions of just 1 speed interval, that's it.
Yeah.
That's like the beginners, that's like the original sort of legs. That.
What, too easy in an interval?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like push-pull legs for beginners, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The most important.
Because even when I was doing the 10Ks in the bulk, my heart rate was just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing something a little bit different in this fat loss phase, something that I've not done in my entire 12 plus lifting career, which is be fairly intuitive when it comes down to the goal we're in. So I won't be tracking any food, I won't be tracking any scale weights. I'm indecisive whether or not to track training, but a part of me just wants to go into the gym 3 times per week and just lift some weights and see the sort of response. There's good reason. I think where I'm at now within my life and lifting career, if you want to consider it that, I don't want to be the bodybuilder anymore. I have been very rigid in approach, and I think if you really want to optimize a muscle building or fat loss phase, then you should probably be, especially for individuals that don't have a lot of training experience. I started properly lifting and understanding knowledge around nutrition and training back in 2012. So it's been a long time. So yeah, I don't really want to be the bodybuilder anymore. It's a good experiment for me. I want to see what the incorporation of higher output runs, eating predominantly whole foods. I think I've maintained a good level of condition in this recent push-up phase, and I think the way in which I'm eating, the way in which I'm training has helped with that. So stay tuned for an experiment. It should be good fun, and I'm excited to see. So just to recap again, no daily scale weight readings, no food tracking, no weighing of foods, no MyFitnessPal this time round. Just run, lift heavy, eat well, and we shall see what happens.
Yeah, exactly, mate. I think it is a vicious cycle, and I think
I've said to you before, El, with me, I'm hyper aware of my bodily sensation. Since the colitis diagnosis, I'm aware of everything. Then that causes me to catastrophize, and then it feeds into a worsening of symptoms. So I'm in this vicious cycle that I need to break. And taking a backward step, where I think we're so regimented with our lives, I think that often feeds negatively into the symptoms. I think it exacerbates them. So I remove my Aura ring. I'm not too concerned about my sleep-wake cycles. I'm not jumping in front of the red light. I'm not doing all these things. And that's what a little bit like, what's his name? Oliver Burkeman speaks about, how we're sort of setting ourselves up for failure by becoming these productivity whores. I'm getting the basics done, the non-negotiables done. But if I fancy jumping on the Xbox for 2 hours at 11 and going to bed at midnight, I'll do it. And the incorporation of the CBD and the microdosing has been a game changer. So I think breaking that cycle is key, my friend. Easier said than done, I know. But we'll grab a coffee next week, because I want to propose an idea to you. I think given both of our situations and men's mental health in general, I think it would be great to have like a day whereby we can get loads of people together, do a little bit of a seminar, discussions, chats, raise awareness, nutrition, get a guest speaker in to talk about men's mental health, speak to Lumi, get some ice pods, get some ice baths in, and maybe have a training session. I think that'd be good. So the plan of attack for this fat loss phase is to increase my running from 10K. So I've been doing 10K per week during my push-up phase, either like a long run, easy 10K, or maybe like a 5x1 track session and another 5K. We're going to increase that from 10K to 25K. And the training frequency is going to go down from 4 to 3. And those 3 sessions will be full body sessions. So I don't think, maybe when I was with Luke,
a long time ago. I've never trained full body, and we'll dive into how we're going to structure those sessions in later videos, but that's the general plan in terms of output and running. When it comes down to nutrition, the beauty of eating whole food, single ingredient, is that you can make very simple reductions in food. So you probably see at the moment there's a lot, again, kind of battle between flexible dieting and whole foods approach or meal planned approach. I've done both. You've seen early videos. I remember I used to get berated for pushing flexibility, and now I get berated for pushing whole foods. So you can never win, but I know what it's like when you're following an IIF-WAM approach. You hyperfixate on what can I get creative with. I've got 500 calories left over. Can I just make this work with a little bit of dairy milk and some granola and remove that now? I'm eating 3 whole meals, maybe a snack pre-workout. But the beauty of eating like that is if you have a diet that's predicated on oats, on sweet potato, regular potato, rice, and you're in a fat loss phase and body comp or scale weight isn't improving, you can just make a very small reduction in that amount of food that you're consuming. And that's what we've noticed with my clients. Pretty much, I'd say 90-95% of my entire client base is now whole foods. We've really minimized UPF, and the response from that has been sensational. Every single one of them, if we were to do a testimonial, had a fantastic response. So the beauty in that is obviously improved cognitive function, regulation in blood glucose, removal of that brain fog. Digestion's been the best it's been since even the colitis diagnosis. We'll come on to kind of stress management and how that plays a role, but that will be the game plan in this 12-week fat loss phase.
What'd you say, little pussy bitch? You're gonna talk to the two-time that way, huh? Huh? You little 5'3" nothing.
So you probably heard me mention CBD on that voice note to Elliot. I suffer massively from health anxiety, and the catalyst was the colitis diagnosis about 1.5 years, nearly 2 years ago now. And I go through periods whereby I'm absolutely fine, but then it will spike up again. For me, I'm hyper aware of every bodily movement and function. And if I think that something's off, I panic and I catastrophize. Could be, sorry for being too graphic here, maybe an increase in flatulence, or if I get a bit of a sharp pain in my left side, I often will think worst case scenario. And worst case scenario for me is what a lot of people, the rates are decreasing, which is fantastic because of drug intervention. But my worst case fear is like a colostomy bag. So I had CBT, not CBD, CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy, twice through the NHS. Had an initial bout that was fantastic. And then they kept me on. I think I was still pretty fucked up. So they said, look, it's probably worthwhile staying on the register and then wait another 6 months and you can get some more treatment. That coincided with me being out in Ibiza, and that, I've spoken before, was like a life-changing 6 weeks for me. So a lot of my health anxiety and my symptoms when it comes down to colitis are stress-induced. And I notice, as I mentioned, the more that I'm really fixated on trying to optimize every single area of my life, it often correlates to an exacerbation in the health anxiety. So I've taken a massive step back. I've taken the O-ring off. I've not been so frequent with like ice baths or red light or sun exposure or like my sleep-wake cycles. And I've kind of regained a little bit of normality. And now I'm in a position where I'm like, maybe I want to start optimize a little bit more. So I mentioned on Instagram a while ago where I think it's really good for us all to be really concerned. And this doesn't go for everyone, by the way, because there's plenty of people that will live that life and they want to do that every single day. For some of us, sometimes it can feel a little bit too much. And it did about 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I've been microdosing mushrooms from a company called Go Microdose. The video will be up here. I originally started taking a really low dose, and I got the calculations wrong. I was basically using a dose that you'd use if it was dry mushrooms, like 0.2, 0.3. I redid the calculation and bumped it up to 0.8. Now, it's really hard for me to say, because there's a kind of a battle between substances almost, how well the CBD is working. But since incorporating this, I wake up, do about 6 drops underneath the tongue. This is from a company called CBD Brothers. It's 6,000 milligram. The combination of the CBD that many people talk so highly of when it comes down to anxiety and the microdosing has been sensational. The best way I can describe it is if you imagine myself as an elastic band, and if you begin to pull that elastic band, that stretch, that band becoming more taut is me catastrophizing. It's almost like the CBD and the microdosing allows me to ping back into the center again. And that's what I experience when I take a high dose mushroom. So if I take like a gram of dry mushrooms as an example, there's a real inability to think about past or present. It almost forces you to stay extremely present. And I actually did a gram probably about 3 weeks ago. It was kind of the catalyst just to recenter me a little bit. And then ever since that, things have been really good. So I can't recommend CBD for me personally, someone who suffers from health anxiety. I know a lot of people suffer from anxiety nowadays, and it's been a saviour. So yeah, fantastic. I went through about maybe last year of smoking cannabis, maybe like Friday, Saturday and Sunday. The issue with cannabis is that the day after, even on the day, you're munged out. Productivity drops off, the desire to work drops off, and it's not ideal. So being able to isolate that CBD has been fantastic, and like I said, cannot recommend it highly, especially for people. And I know many people, I have conversations on a daily basis where I'm open about my health anxiety. We build a good rapport on the TM Cycles fellowship, which is brilliant. So yeah, there we go. Episode 1 of, want to call it a series? Whatever it is. We're getting in shape for holiday, ladies and gents. Hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you again very soon. Thank you, good night, and much love.